A court has ruled that he did not rip off Marvin Gaye's song Let's Get It On when composing his own track, Thinking Out Loud. Ed Sheeran reportedly told the trial that if he was found guilty, he would give up his career. He gave this statement outside of court.
I'm obviously very happy with the outcome of the case, and it looks like I'm not having to retire from my day job after all. But at the same time, I'm unbelievably frustrated that baseless claims like this are allowed to go to court at all. We've spent the last 8 years talking about 2 songs with dramatically different lyrics, melodies and 4 chords which are also different and used by songwriters every day all over the world.
Well, a musicologist for Ed Sheeran's defence team told the court that the 4-chord sequence in question was used in several songs before Marvin Gaye's hit came out in 1973. So let's catch up with my favourite barrister, Andrew Eborn.
Hey.
Barrister, broadcaster.
Oh, it's such a joy.
Oh, thank you. Makes that to all the girls. Who specialises in copyright and intellectual property rights. So what do we feel about this outcome?
Well, I'll tell you what, Trish, I love the intro. Now, that's what I call monarchy, taking you from royals to royalty. Oh. It's got to be good.
Yes, you see what we did there? Seamless link.
Hey.
Now, Ed Sheeran.
Will I Am, that would be good. I'll tell you what, Will I Am and anything from Queen would be good for your list as
well.
Oh,
I like that. I'm taking that. I'll take that. I'm taking that. All day long, Andrew Eborn. So
it's got to be good.
Well,
I'll tell you what. Last time we were together, we had such fun, and I told you what was going to happen, and they could have saved millions upon millions if they'd listened.
I mean, the thing is, they were very similar, though. The songs are, like they say, the sort of the melody, whatever you want to call it. I'm not good at, music technology, but it did sound very similar. And I must admit...
Well, and you're absolutely right. So copyright, what we touched on last time, Trish, is explain basically how it works. So it's not just about sounding similar, because basically what copyright does, it gives the owner of that copyright the right to prevent copying, to prevent distribution of their work, to alter it in any way. But basically, the key is whether it's being copied. And the 95-year-old Judge Louis L Stanton, he said to the jury before they went off to deliberate, the independent creation is a complete defence, no matter how similar that song is. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we're looking at. So the jury managed to reach their decision after just 3 hours, and it was a wonderful court case. Ed got up and he sang. He explained about the history of how he came up with the song himself, and even though he made reference to a wonderful concert that he did in Zurich, where he did a little segue between the Marvin Gaye track and his own track, he basically said, look, a lot of music is effectively the same notes, but the real test is, did he copy the work? And what the jury said in this particular case is, no, he didn't, and therefore he wasn't guilty of copyright infringement.
And of course, we know this is not the first time that he's been in a copyright battle. There was the, furore over his Shape of You song. It was someone claiming that he'd ripped them off. And, he's hoping this will be the end of people sort of wanting to, as he said, shake his piggy bank full of cash. But do you think other people will be put off now from, I don't know, trying to go to court with these big stars if they think they've been ripped off?
Well, I think there's two things. There's firstly, where there's a legitimate case, then obviously we want people to go ahead and make sure that they do protect the rights that they own. So similarly, if people ripped off any of Ed's brilliant songs, then he would be entitled to sue them for damages and so on and so forth. But the test each time, and as I always say, it's Andrew Eborn's greatest writs, and throughout history, music has always been looking at that side, from Chuck Berry and the Beach Boys to the Chiffons and George Harrison. You had Queen, quite appropriately, since you're talking about that, and David Bowie against Vanilla Ice. Remember Vanilla Ice and Ice Ice Baby and Under Pressure?
Yes, of course. I mean, the thing is...
So all of those sort of things make sense on that sort of basis. So what you need to look at is, we don't want to discourage people where there's a legitimate claim. What Ed was saying, and it's quite tragic, really, because he missed his grandmother's funeral and things like that. It was a massive strain on him. And he did threaten that he was going to give up the whole business altogether if he didn't get a decision in his favour. So I think it's very, very important that, you're right, we've got to stop claims which are not legitimate, but where they are legitimate, I think it is interesting. One of my favourite cartoons which depicts the whole thing about litigation, and it's by somebody called L. Bright from the 1700s, and they show a picture of a cow and on the cow is written the word litigation, and you have the plaintiff pulling the horns of the cow and the defendant pulling the tail, and you have the lawyer milking the cow.
Oh, Lord.
BBC.